All right, guys, we're live here coming at you with YouTube and Facebook Live. Today, we're going to talk about a weekend fun-filled weekend. How to turn your hobby into a money-making side hustle without flushing cash. I'm your host, Curtis, and co-host with.
RJ Horner.
Thanks, RJ, for joining us this week. I appreciate you coming in. So, if you're a side hustler, let me tell you a little story about a guy named Dave. Now, Dave loved baking. Like, seriously, he loved it. His sourdough starter had his name on it, and he called it Carl. Funny. So his cooking recipe was neighborhood legend, and in his kitchen looked like a cross between the British Bake Off tent and the flower explosion of a crime scene. Every weekend, Dave would bake for his friends, family, and anyone who dared to say, "I loved cookies." Then one day, his coworker Linda said, "Hey, why don't you start selling these? I'd buy a dozen." Ding ding. Clue to hobby to hustle transformation. So, do you have any hobbies that you would consider to start doing?
Um, Listen, we've been trying to start our own business for a while, in
Yep.
speaking, talking to people, building community, networking. Um, Seminars are my thing, right?
Yep.
So how do we turn that into something? And that's what we've been focusing on, you and I, for a long
Yep.
time. So, yeah, that's but there are so many ideas out there. Like, my wife is a designer,
Yep.
an amateur, and she won't do it professionally, right? I try to convince her.
Hmm.
My sister-in-law, she can put these events on like crazy. She won't turn it into a professional gig, and drives me. I want, yeah, it drives me batty.
Oh yeah. Well, it's crazy that people are the fear, right? The fear factor.
I think that's what it is, and that's why we're talking about this today, right? Because
Yep.
I mean, so many people could take what they know, what they love, and turn it into something profitable.
Absolutely. Well, let's carry on with our little story about Dave here. Dave did what many of us do when inspiration strikes. He panicked, bought branded boxes and domain name and an industrial stand mixer that cost him more than his rent, all before selling a single cookie. And what happened? Guess what happened?
Yeah.
Carl, the sourdough starter, was thriving, but Carl's bank account, not so much. Don't be a Dave. So, what's the lesson here? Turn your hobby into a legit side hustle without throwing money at stuff you don't need yet. So, let's start with step one. Get real about why you love it so you don't hate it later. Let's start with some real talk. Hobbies are for fun. Side hustle, they're part of the fun, part hustle. The effort, deadlines, make, and maybe even the taxes. Ask yourself, do I enjoy this enough to do it even when I'm tired? Can I handle doing it for others, not just me? Am I cool turning this from a full time hustle or not, or just a money thing? If your answers lean towards heck yes, you're on the right track. Any thoughts about that, RJ? Any further questions?
Look, that's the one thing. Like, you have to consider how far your brand or your business might go, right?
Yep. Hmm.
Yes, it's great that you get cash coming in, right?
Yep.
But this may become something where it's demanding, right?
Yep.
There's a demand for the product, and therefore this could, oh, I need this, oh, I need this, oh, I need this, and it becomes overwhelming, right? So we don't
Absolutely.
want to get into that position, or knowing that up front, am I willing to do what it takes to take this to a viable venture?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, sometimes you should start making money first and just ask friends and family to support you to start. But we'll get more into that shortly. So
Okay.
let's talk about Jenna. She started making quirky clay earrings in her apartment during lockdown. Her designs were funky, like a literal avocado toast looking earrings. I see those things are funny. At first, it was just Instagram fun, but then people started asking, "Where can I buy these?" Jenna loved the process, packing orders, answering DMs, coming up with new avocado variation. She was in. So before you start supplying supplies or printing logos, make sure you actually want the hustle part too. Right. So number two here, test the waters before buying the yacht. Obviously,
Mm.
this is a big one. You don't need a fancy website, 5,000 followers, or LLC paperwork to test your hobby hustle. You need one thing: a willing buyer. Pretty simple, right?
Hmm.
So just start simple. Post on your personal social media. Could be Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, like what we're doing here. We're doing a live on Facebook and Instagram today. And don't forget to like and subscribe and ring the bell if you like what you see today, guys. Love to see you join us. So after that, hey, I like this funky crochet hat. Do you want one? Or whatever your hobby is, right?
Hmm.
Then hey, join our Beacon Fellows, right? Just go to
Yep.
beaconfellows.com, join up there, or even join our new awesome school group, right, RJ?
Yep. Thanks for the pitch.
Yeah, there we go. It's
Yep.
our thing, right? There we go.
Yeah, look, and there's so many videos out there that, they're showing you how to cook or how to do something, how to build things, right?
Yep,
Um, and you usually see at the bottom a little ad, right, of their business or
yep,
how to connect back to them. So that's another thing with Instagram now is you can put those little or reels, you can put the link at the bottom of
yep,
your video, right?
yep.
So
That's
you're
right.
watching the video, maybe even in hyper speed and go, oh, I'd love to have those, right? So
Go
how
get
do I
it.
get them?
Yep,
I
click the
connect back
link.
with this link, right? So
Yep, perfect. Yeah, it's pretty simple to do now. I am almost got a little investigation and try to figure it out.
mhm. Now,
So
when it,
carry on.
okay, no,
Go
go,
ahead. Go ahead.
you go ahead.
No,
No,
no, I
you
was
go
going to
ahead.
carry on with the story, but you got something
So,
to say. Go ahead.
well, no, I noticed some of the notes you got here, and I wanted to point out that point out um you can go to a flea market or go to a local market and sell your products, right?
Yep, yep, you can.
Um, yes, you can do that, but of course, it costs money for the table or the
Yep,
space, and then you may or may not sell products. But posting a little video online,
it's free.
watching live view what you do, that will intrigue people a lot.
Yep, that's true. And then you can also just do like little tweaks here and there as you go along, right?
Mhm.
For sure. All right, so let's go to the next step would be setting a micro budget so you don't go broke trying to get rich. Here's what Dave did. Remember the baker?
Yep.
Instead of dropping or $1,200 on a mixer he didn't need yet, he could have started with the one he had, sold a few dozen cookies, and then reinvested the profits, which is a great idea, right? Your return
Mhm.
on investment. So, how to create a side hustle on a starter budget? Break it into three buckets. First bucket, production basics. What do you need to make the thing? Could be clay, flour, yams, whatever it may be. The next, number two, would be packaging and delivering. How do you get people to buy, or how to get people in, right? The third one would be marketing. Maybe $30 for a logo on Fiverr or $20 Instagram ads after you've made sales. So do buy stuff after you made a few sales so you can reinvest into your business, right? Cap the budget at what you'd normally spend on a night out or a weekend getaway. This forces you to get scrappy, which is where creative lies. Bonus, the early scrappiness becomes part of your story, and people love a good underdog brand. Any comments on that, RJ?
Yeah, look, we're doing the same thing with our Beacon School that we just talked about,
Yep,
right? We've set a deadline on how soon we'd like to see some income coming in. We'll carry it for so long. This is our
yep.
budget.
Yeah, we said about
After
three
that,
months, right?
yeah, after that, we need to know, is this viable? Is this something we're worth continuing? So maybe by doing it
Absolutely.
that way, you know where your limitations are and what you're willing to invest.
Yep, for sure. That's a good idea, right? So next, number four, find your first super fans, also known as test customer with benefits. We always like customers with benefits. Your first buyers are everything. They are your tester, cheerleaders, and walking billboards. How do you find them? Start with these three steps. First, make a list of 20 people you know who might be interested: friends, coworkers, gym buddies, book club pals, or whatever it may be. Facebook friends works for me. Offer a special first round deal, something like $5 off for the first 10 orders, or custom requests available for beta testers. And the next one would be ask for feedback and testimonials. So this will give us proof of concept, and people will say, hey, if that person's doing it, maybe I would like to do that too. So Jenna, the clay earring queen, gave her first 15 customers 50% off in exchange for feedback and Instagram selfies wearing the new dangly tacos on a sunny side up egg. Results: word of mouth marketing exploded. We're not just selling stuff, we're branding a tiny, passionate tribe. Any thoughts there, RJ?
Look, this whole process, I don't know if one of our friends, they decided they were going to live a remote lifestyle, right?
Yep.
And it was because his wife had created this product that she was going to now start selling,
Yep.
and they knew it could become something. They just didn't know how big it could become.
Right.
So what they do is that she makes like earrings and trinkets and things like that,
Right. Right.
and she takes and sells them at fairs. So
Okay.
they're now traveling the country to different fairs, selling her products, medieval fairs, in fact, to be
Yep.
more specific. So
Yep.
her products are in line with chainmail and things like that.
Yeah. Okay.
But so they now travel the country. They're setting up multiple fairs at a time.
Yep.
They're expanding their business. So get look starting small, right? Starting with a few products or a few dozen products, and then see where that goes. Let the profits come in. And like you mentioned earlier, reinvest it so that once you're ready, you can build that into something. And look, with every side hustle,
Yep.
you have to have the intention that this is going to become your full-time gig,
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
That's why you're doing it in the first place. You want that money freedom and time freedom. Well, this will give you that opportunity, but only if you're prepared for where it might go in the future.
Yep. That's good. All right, let's carry on to the next one is building systems before you burn out. Hustle, go from fun to overwhelming real quick if you don't plan ahead. That's why you need tiny systems. Don't worry, we're not talking about spreadsheets or CRMs here. Just ask yourself, how will I take orders? Instagram DMs, Google Forms? How will I track expenses? Notebook or app like Apple Waves? It's like basically accounting software. How many orders can I handle weekly without crying into my hobby supplies? So you want to get overwhelmed, right? Like, can you only do 10 orders a week or can you do like 50, 60, right?
Mhm.
Systems are your side hustle's backbone. They protect you for your time, sanity, and quality of life. Pro tip: use free tools first, like Trello for orders, Canva for graphics, which we use, graphic or Google Sheets for tracking your money or whatever it may be you need to track. It helps out. You can always upgrade later, but don't drop cash before cash is coming in. Sounds like a good idea.
Yep. Yeah, very reasonable. But
Yeah.
yeah, you have to consider. And look, some things cost an investment of some sort, right? Like a
Yep.
website or something like that.
Yeah, this
Keep,
like startup costs, right?
yeah, keep it small, um, and know that this is a small investment for the long term gain, right? But
Yep.
yeah, try to use those. I use as many free resources as possible,
Yep.
especially with AI nowadays.
Oh
There's
yeah,
so
it's
many
easy. Yeah,
options out there
absolutely.
that people can work with.
Yep. Yep. The one we use is Pork Bun. I love that. It's awesome. I like the name, and
Yeah,
it's
for our
pretty
website.
inexpensive. Yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, now back to Dave. After burning a hole in his wallet, Dave paused. He sold a few dozen cookies from his regular oven, tracked sales in his notebook, and delivered by hand on weekends. Slowly, he built a customer list. He saved his profits. Then and only then did he buy a fancy mixer. Today, he's selling it weekly at local farmers market. Carl, the sourdough starter, even has his own Instagram page. Have you seen pages like that, like the animal ones? They have
No.
They got a thing called dog influencers now.
Oh yeah, are you kidding? Yeah, I've
Dogs,
seen
yeah,
like I'm a
yeah,
dog lover, and I know you have a Shih Tzu too, right?
yep, I do.
And so I'm watching lots of different videos on Shih Tzus, and it's funny because they seem to have they put people's voices behind the dog's thoughts. I love it.
Yeah,
Oh, it
yeah,
makes
yeah,
me
they have their
laugh.
own
But
personality for
but
sure.
yeah, everybody's an influencer these days, and everybody and their dog is an influencer
Yeah,
these
for sure.
days.
Literally. That's pretty funny. All right, moving forward. The golden rule of hobby hustling: earn before you burn, cash that is. Turning a hobby into a hustle should feel like upgrading your favorite video game, not entering tax season hell. Which some of us probably would know that because we just finished our tax season at the end of April, right?
Yep.
Okay. Test, tweak, and grow. And remember, your goal isn't to become an overnight empire, it's to build something fun, flexible, and fulfilling. So, what's your Carl? Is it a garden full of hot peppers, a knack for editing people's resumes, a TikTok level up makeup session, or growing a school group like we are trying to do here? Start small, test often, grow smart. We're rooting for you. Sounds good, RJ?
Yeah, I love where we went to today. So
Awesome. So, before you go, here's a few quick nuggets. Hobby hustles to start fast. These may be something you like, maybe some give you some ideas. Hustling, I mean, resume editing Baking specialty treats could be like for people or dogs, as we talked about earlier. Handmade jewelry, pet sitting or dog walking, that's popular. Digital art commissions, right? Avoid these traps early on. Buying bulk inventory before selling anything. Make sure you test before you get committed. Paying for a website when you don't even have customers. So you can just start small, like we said earlier, some free stuff, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. There's a couple of free ones.
You
There's
can
other
even
ones.
get a website for free by using a WordPress site or something
Yep,
like that.
yep, yep. That's right.
So even that can be free.
It might be kind of funny looking wording, but it will work. Spending hours on branding when you don't have a product to sell yet. So just focus on just getting people like your audience building, right?
And there's another one I want to add here is,
Yep,
there's a lot of websites now where they host your links like Bitly,
yep,
My360, things like that, where they host your links. So um, even when you're out with people or something like that, you can scan a QR code or share a QR code
yep,
so that when you're out with people and they're like, oh my God, what a great thing. I'd love to have more. Yeah, well, here, you can scan my thing or you can go to my website. Here, let me
yeah,
send you the link. So you can quickly send people the link to their
yep,
phone. You know what I mean?
yep.
So there's ways to get the message out and be prepared when people do find your products of value.
Right on. Yeah, the one I like is called The Leap. It's free. It's by Thinkific. It's actually quite good. You can do courses and other product stuff for free. So,
Mhm.
and they have payment gateway to Stripe as well. So that's pretty cool. Some apps you can use is Canva has a free one. Wave that's for invoicing and bookkeeping. That's a free one. Instagram, obviously, with Linktree is another free link in bio type of thing. Notion and Trello are also free, so you can organize your orders and tasks. So you've used Trello before, right? Or
Yep.
we have before. It's pretty good. A lot of stuff you have to like pin it on your page to make sure you see it every day. Because sometimes I've done mine where I don't have it pinned. It's like, oh, what am I doing? I forgot.
Where did it go? I'm sure I
Yeah.
posted it.
Yep. Yep. So now you try it. Pick one hobby you love, create one offer, reach out to 5 people. Boom, you're in the game. No giant website, no business degree, just action. Now go make it happen. And if you guys like to leave comments, let us know if you actually did this. We'd love to hear from you. Um, yeah, just let us know. And then let us know if you're going to grow any big ideas. Leave a message or leave a message with us, leave a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and ring the bell so you get notifications when we go live. Any closing comments, RJ?
Yeah, you know what? And you touched on it so briefly here. I want to point it out. Is
Yep, go
it's
ahead.
all about the offer, right?
Yep,
Myron Golden, Russell Brunson. I watched a video where that's what they talked about. Is it's all about the offer. So, what's your product? What's your price? And what are they? How are they getting? How are you going to fulfill it? Right. So,
yep,
those three things. Once you know those three things, you can go and sell your product to people.
yep, for sure. That sounds like a good thing. But yeah, just start off small, get people to like it and buy it first, and then it's a like a test to make sure people like what you got, right?
Mhm.
Perfect. All right, guys, thanks for listening and being here today, and we'll see you next week. Okay, have a good one. Bye bye.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yep.